Hello YouTube, Infinite Magicraid community, Gandolf here. Finally, it's here, the ultimate tier list update, recording May 26, 2024. So I'll call this the June update. And this time around, it's an updated format, and I'm including 10 honorable mention for epics. And I hope this will really help a lot of the newer players. And while I'm going to be talking through transition and rework, it's really meaning don't bother investing eyes into these heroes. You will grow out of them really soon. They have made enough updates to the older heroes so that they will help you early game in terms of through the campaign for the most part. So if you're stuck with very few legendaries in the beginning, don't worry, you're given plenty of regression potions. Don't be afraid to try a couple of heroes out, learn the game, and as you dive deeper into dungeons like stage 20 and higher, you will start, hopefully by then have some of the better heroes on this tier list. Earlier this month, what I have done was I released the Mythic Limited Banner and Elemental City tier list. I spend more time into these heroes because they're more impactful in the game, and especially for Mythic and Elemental City, these are guaranteed heroes that everyone can get with just a certain amount of gameplay. Limited Banner, you're actually easier to get limited banner heroes than specific legendary heroes, simply because they come in boxes now. Like there's one box every month at least, sometimes two a month. And you can get one of these heroes as long as you're willing to spend money on it. So these are actually relatively easy to get, just costing money. Um, and I would say that anything that we see today on the legendary and epic tier list, where it says solid or higher. So pretty much these heroes that will be considered as the core today. Anything strong and above on Mythic or Elemental City will also be considered as core. Your solid ones here will be considered as strong on today's tier list. In case you're wondering, how do they compare against any of these heroes? I split into two videos simply because there's a lot to talk about these heroes on the screen right now. The link to that video is in the description. So you can go there if you want to focus more on these heroes. Now, today we're going to be talking about heroes that are most impactful at the top, and we'll work all the way through this list, maybe bottom up. Now, um, hopefully by the time you watch this video, I'll be at 1,000 subs, but really would like to hit that goal. So, hope if you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please like and subscribe. On my channel, I do a ton of work around detailed hero reviews, talking about game mechanics. Hopefully, I can help you master the game. That's what I'm kind of known for in the community a bit. Sometimes my videos do ramble on a little bit, so if you don't mind that, I think I'll be a great content creator for you to follow and get the latest details if you want to win on those additional nuanced information about each hero. With that out of the way, let's dive right into this list. I'm not going to name every hero simply because, and some of you who follow my videos knows that pronunciation isn't exactly my strength. What I'm here to do is really talk about maybe heroes of notableness up on this list. So from the bottom, when I say transition and rework, I'm not telling the devs to go rework these heroes. We have seen a lot of buff in the last maybe 2-3 months to some of the weaker, less relevant heroes, and I'll say majority of these will be able to help you through at least Nightmare campaign difficulty, right? Maybe at Hell things fall apart a little bit, but hopefully by the time you get to Hell, you have option to get some other heroes. Early on, you have guaranteed heroes that's up here, like heroes like Anna. Like if you want to spend like $2-3, you can get like Moshi and get copies of Moshi. Like you're not really worried about DPS. You really want to just get some solid support heroes. So if you happen to have any of these other heroes, they will help fill up your roster. They will be nice toys, but you don't want to invest too much into here. I'm not going to name all of the heroes over here. Now on the PvP side, if you happen to any of these heroes, they will help a little bit. For example, Zara has a and I'm talking about even exclusive Zero, right? Like because with Anna, everyone has an Anna. That's why Eric stands out. You're gonna be able to throw bombs all over the place and knock people out. Great combo with Anna. Zara has a nice control, not 100% reliable, just like Harid. At exclusive Zero, Claude has a decent AOE. Gunner, again, very good synergy with the burn teams with Anna. Um, you got Gerda is actually really good early game. Same with Zia or Xia. And Ariel is really nice with the cloak and being able to uncloak when she gets hit and then smack someone really hard. Sinton has a very reliable AoE provoke, good AoE CC, and Terror can tear through a lot of the shielded heroes early game. So early game, you will find these heroes are really strong, but later you will find that they kind of fall off very quickly when you transition into a mid game. Now let's talk about faction heroes. Also, what I'll highlight is you notice there are blue outlines around some of these heroes. I just called out support heroes. For you, in case you're new to the game, these are support heroes. The other ones are either ones that boost damage or direct damage dealers. For the most part, they're direct damage dealers. Hopefully, with newer players, this kind of help you think about team composition. Most of the time, you want to run 3 supports with 2 damage dealers is the typical setup. Sometimes you might run, 4 support, 1 damage dealer. But in general, this is kind of the general setup. Certain buff, a lot more valuable in game. We'll get to that in a sec. Let's go on to the niche section. So here is maybe I want to do the call out for um, the epic heroes. If you see them, now, if you don't have really good heroes early on, I would say, if you happen to see a few of these epic heroes, especially the ones that you see here highlighted, they're probably worth building early on, just simply because you will not only uh, help you transition through to mid game and late game, they will come in handy in faction abyss later. So Wim and Liz for the respective factions, because you know you will still see them on stage 30 teams, right? Um, for Pharaoh and Yar, these two almost like identical twins here, these two dragons, not only do they have 3 turn 40% shield, Yar has healing on his ultimate skill, get some turn meter so he can cycle his turns faster. You got Pharaoh here with attack down and slows, which is super for fighting against any boss. We then got maybe Snove and Cthulhu, their support, you see them used in support context for their faction abyss, but they can also be used in PvP a little bit. And then, of course, the ones on the right, Bisiden and Judge Lu, great for PvP, immediately boosting one of your heroes' turn all the way to full, allowing them to burst. Weasley is a really interesting support. She has attack down 2, which is going to be very impactful for reducing boss output damage by 50%. But she also have a very reliable way of getting effective res down. Early game, you're going to struggle with your dot damage dealers to land dots on some of the tougher enemies because of just early on, because your sanctuary is so low and it's hard to get all the stats you need. Having a 50% resistance now is going to help you balance your stats so much better early game. So that's why Veasley made it onto the honorable mention list. The other two I'm not going to put on here is Anton and Maya, simply because you have better options here, and also because the that particular faction, the sorry, I'm drawing a blank very briefly. With that specific faction, the Holy Light Parliament, you have Nordak. Nordak is a guaranteed hero in the Mythic side, so you will be able to cover all of your need in that faction. Okay, with the epics out of the way, um, let's go take a look at the rest of the ones that are really good for faction or for Wuthering Coast. So here on the left-hand side, we got some solid damage dealer, most of them for bleed, and they are mostly using faction here. I would say Wuthering Coast, Grace, and Lysander, these two will make it into the bleed teams. Now, only because Hidden Wave is still kind of looking for that slowdown a bit. So you got, and these two are both of these heroes are guaranteed, right? So we got, on the bottom, we got Villette. So Villette is going to be able to put I think she can put down both code and wet. So that's going to help reduce the damage output and also have a nice slow, a little bit of heal. So for faction, that's really helpful. Yeah, she's got wet and slowdown, and Sorry, she's only got what? She doesn't have code, unfortunately. My bad there. But she's definitely got a little bit of slow on the enemy. And then we got slowdown 2 coming out of Edith. Edith skill 2 basically at higher exclusive can allow you to do a slowdown 2, which is really helpful for you to cycle turns on the bot. So this is Edith. Now, then you got Dakota and Malat. Both are really good for your poison team. This is more for Wuthering Coast, especially for Malat. But for Dakota, Dakota's Revive is going to help you with Faction 30. Some people will run Dakota, but she's not absolutely required. I think I managed to do it without Dakota, but some people like to use Dakota for faction. Then over here we got Gramdy. Gramdy is the only one that has a reliable slow in Forgotten, I believe. Or alternatively, because I don't think, let me just double check here. Yeah, because I don't think Yar has a slow. No, Yar doesn't have a slow. So Gramdy has a slow, and that slow is going to help you cycle your turns better, and it's going to help you with faction. My has attack down 2, is also going to be really helpful for faction from that perspective. Then over to the right, here's more of your shielders. All of them have 40% shield. Alahan has a slightly smaller shield, but Alahan has a full heal, topping up your entire team to the highest HP percent. So really good to use in conjunction with, sorry, catching my breath here, with Epic here. That will be really helpful for you as you look at your faction Abyss for the Desert Sages. Gru is a little bit weaker than the Trent hero here. Shoot, drawing a blank again. Drawing a blank. Just give me one brief moment here. There are just a lot of new heroes added to the game, and the ones that we use less often, simply, I forget their names. Taru. Taru is the hero. That's going to be really helpful here. So you see 3 4-star heroes in here because, they're all kind of comparable. You just need like kind of 2 of them. The other one, of course, is the one that Proxima won for his design contest. Beta, Beetlejuice, Betelgeuse. There you go. The horrible pronunciation starts to come out now in this video. This hero gives you, defense up and attack up. It's going to be an HP up. So a lot of attribute buffs to help your team through the content. In faction, so yeah, so you got a couple of options here. And of course, the key that's going to help with the Doom Legion is Elia. Elia exclusive one is going to get the anti-debuff, and you're going to get a nice HP shield up. If you get him faster than the boss, perfectly synced up with the boss, you're going to have a real easy time with him. So this covers all the heroes that are relevant for faction. And Wuthering Coast. A lot of the time, Wuthering Coast heroes for the specific damage type are a lot stronger, so they actually show up higher on their tier list than the ones that you kind of really are looking for faction heroes, because sometimes you're missing that support or missing, additional damage dealer. That's why they kind of show up on the list that way. With that out of the way, let's move up to our damage dealers and PvP heroes. Now, I'll start with the honorable mentions. They're here, and Mackin, everybody knows Mackin for campaign, but Mackin's a little bit weaker actually than all of the heroes up here in terms of damage potential at full exclusive and not. And I'm talking about, this tier list is based on full potential, right? So you're fully leveled up, exclusive 3, you have decent, you have emblem, you have blessing, you have the right relevant echo and all of that. First, starting off the top, we got this hero when she came out, Ikina. Ikina was actually really, really good. People were doing she was the hero that first helped many people get to 400 mil on the guild boss, which is a great way to help you, get good gem income. But she's just fallen off and got power crept so much. She's still good, very good single target damage dealer that will work well with the likes of Ristler and Ben Austin and pair up with Catherine, and you can get her stack up really high. it's just there's much better options now. So she's kind of fallen off a little bit. So at this point, on these honorable mentions, if you naturally got extra exclusive, they're not worth your eyes for anymore. And then you got Maeve, the only hero that can actually slow down the boss, do a defense break, do a lot of direct damage when the boss can't be slowed down with her unique. They kind of nerfed that a little bit. Now it's only 16% as opposed to 25% before. But nonetheless, I mean, it's a very good option for slowing down the boss to get a few extra turns in, especially if you're doing a direct damage team and you need that defense break as well. Hizaro can trigger bleed and do a lot of single target bleed damage, and he's getting the honorable mention, especially making the relevance in the latest content in Purgatory Sin and help in Gwyneth the boss with a reliable severe wound. Maybe once we see more severe wound coming into the game, he will be kind of knocked further down the list. Uh, Meloche here has a very nice AoE, and that's why Meloche is kind of grouped together with Anna, and we see Anna, Barry here, kind of all able to do the same thing. Now we're kind of into this middle section of the tier list, right? So they're both drawing PvP and PvE. Very good synergy with a lot of the burn heroes doing extra damage with burn and getting cooldowns and triggering his passives when other heroes are doing detonation damage. So really good on your burn teams for Wuthering Coast. But overall, like the nuking damage is comparable to Anna's ultimate and to Barry as well. So he's in a good middle spot here. Barry's fallen off simply because effective res is so much higher nowadays than before. And if you need to put a lot of effective hit to trigger the burn detonation, it makes his damage a little bit lower. Grand scheme of things, he's still a very solid AoE nuker if you can put enough effective hit and mastery into him. Slacto and Margarita used to be super strong AoE nukers. It's just they've been power crept by a lot of other heroes, like with the likes of Belton and Gilliman, and of course Jenny and Mekio. So if you have those other heroes, great. But early on, you might get Margarita E1, and that will help you carry through as a direct damage dealer in AoE quite a bit. Naskarma, you got the horror, you got the strip, and you can kind of self damage away at one of the enemy highest attack heroes. So PvP wise, he's still relevant early game if you don't have better options. Same with Sylvie, especially with the new Echo for her. She can definitely, especially exclusive one, charge up and bam, one shot any key target on the any enemy team as long as you can get her to go. So that is the honorable mention. If we go back 9 months in the game, all of these heroes would have been way higher. It's just they've been power crept by a lot of heroes. You will kind of notice that as you go higher onto this tier list, a lot of these heroes have been only released in the last maybe 3 months or earlier this year. So this is kind of the trend with most gacha games, and that's why it's important to look at updated tier lists. You want to know what some of these new heroes are, and you don't necessarily have to get them through miracle summons. You can try your luck and wait, but unfortunately, with the hero pool getting larger and larger, sometimes it's a little bit hard to get the right legendary you want. So, that's why the mythic heroes and elemental city heroes are so key because they fill vital roles on your team. Moving up, this is solid heroes. So if you happen to have any of these heroes early on, I would say, they're definitely worth your eyes unless you are you're a big whale and you're able to summon a lot. If you're free to play player, if you have some of these solid heroes, um, it's probably worth it to get a couple eyes in there while you wait. Maybe not on the bottom row, but as we get to the top row here, maybe. Like I'll call out specific ones. That's probably worth an eye. On your strong list, definitely. On the PvE side, I think mm, quite a few of them are worth your eyes. I'll call out the ones which are, more exclusive, uh, you know, dependent there as we go on this list. So on to the rest of your solids. Veronica, great poison hero, single target poison hero. People sleep on Hertha. Hertha actually does a lot of damage, especially after the buff. Tons of bleed damage, can do AoE, can do single target, great bleeder. Um, then you got Andreas, great burn damage, a boss killer, um, has unique passive that boosts its attack as team do more detonation damage. So great on a burn team, fully stacked. He's going to be doing massive amount of damage, especially at exclusive 3. You got Nidroid doing bleed damage on your turn. What's really great about these heroes is it's not relying on the enemy's turn to do damage. You're doing damage on your own turn. So when you slow down the enemy, you speed yourself up. When you're taking twice the number of turns, you're still scaling your damage for going faster. Milia's here. Probably Milia should have been a little bit lower on this list, maybe just slightly down, because Milia's been kind of power crept by a lot of things. But nonetheless, she's still really good. She has, self-heal, counterattack, HP burn, really good early game. Gonna help you through a lot of campaign and a lot of stuff. People like talk about, soloing through health, soloing through rum, like early, like 20 stages, just using Milia, right? So Milia still quite relevant, right? Onto the support. I always say that, Theth, Marvel, definitely worth your eyes from a support perspective. You can use them for a long time. You can use them all the way through. You get the cooldown reduction. You got extending buffs. Likewise, Anaru, I think you just need exclusive 2. I think it's all right. Even Anaru, just, exclusive 1 or even not exclusive should be fine. Like Anaru is really great. You got the attack down and the speed down on the first basic attack, and you have nice, healing abilities as well. Magni, consolidation, uniques, poison damage boosting, worth it to get up to exclusive 3, but maybe a little bit after some of the other heroes. Of course, forgot to mention like the on the top we have. Oh, whoops, clicked on the wrong one there. Chardonnay, key to bleed heroes. You're going to have speed up, you're going to have 40% shield and do ton of damage, and you have attack down as well at exclusive 3. So Chardonnay definitely worth your eyes up to 3 eyes on him if you don't have better options. The only thing with him is he's very much single target. There isn't much AoE option, unfortunately. So you do want to pair him up with an AoE hero bleeder if you're running a double bleed team. So maybe if you're early on the game, maybe pick one of the AoE bleeders down here, like whether Elena here, you can run. You can even try Natalie, right? Like down here, like you just need another bleeder to go with him, and you got a good synergy with your DPS team. But he can serve in the support role quite well as well, due to like a like a 3-turn shield and giving your allies a 40% speed up. So that's very good, right? That's what you want Santa exclusive 1 for, is having a nice shield and speed up. Well, Santa can also heal and other things, but he's really good. He's going to be really required for faction as well. On to the middle section here. We kind of already talked about the bottom ones. Anna, Zora, and Bull. Like, ton of damage. Bull, especially one thing about Bull here is if he's taking too much damage, he's going to steal the turn. And he's going to do a massive AoE basic attack back. Zora ignores defense, so and she synergizes well with bleed teams as well. So if there's a lot of, sorry, synergize with poison team. If there's a lot of poisoner on the team, the enemy has poison, she's going to be able to do a ton of damage from that. But she can work without poison team, so it's really nice for her as a hybrid option. Just straight up ignoring defense nuke or synergize with a poison team. She does a ton of damage that way. On top, we got more of the support type. Now, the reason why all of them are good healers, give consolidation. Ether's a little bit different. Ether just, share damage with entire allies consistently, 50% damage reduction straight up. That's really nice, right? They all have very good uses in PvP as well. Elena is going to strip, slow down, and reduce the enemy's critical damage, boost your own critical damage. Ether can stun the hero that broke her shield. And at exclusive 3 Elza, make sure that as soon as one of your allies die, everybody else gets immortality immediately and starts the turn with everyone with consolidation. So really good on tanky teams as well. So some people might be sleeping on these heroes, especially if you have more copies of them. I wouldn't necessarily invest eyes into them. I mean, Elena is definitely exclusive one will be required for faction of bits. That slowdown is really helpful, and you don't have many other options to slow down in Holy Parliament. So she's really key there. Moving to the right in this PvP section now, on the bottom we have niche. They're really niche. We see Hoff can build a team around him, right? Because at a higher exclusive, when you kill the mark, he's gonna instantly mark someone, and when you kill that mark with likes of Tifia or early movers, right? You're gonna be able to then quickly get another turn, allowing you to, you know, completely destroy mid to weak team. And to go with that, you got the likes of, sorry, drawing a blank, Olga. Olga here does the same thing. So as soon as one of your allies moves, she's going to pursue that attack. So imagine Tifia goes first, right? If enemy goes, she immediately cuts after. Or if your team is the fastest, Tifia goes right after. So imagine an E0 Lydia can enable this team. You got Olga, you got Tifia, you got a Hoff, and then maybe throw in something like a Lysander. Boom, turn one, you're just gonna instantaneously wipe somebody else and get another turn. Go again. You're gonna kill most mid to squishy team, and you're gonna go instantly go first, right? So that's a great combo setup there with these heroes for PvP. Then you got, I mean, PvP wise, I mean, so we're still kind of low on the base. We decided to, well, not we, I kind of decided to put Juan there. Okay, Juan has um, when he's under the parry status, he's gonna get some turn meter at the end of the enemy's turn. So there is a way, okay, for him to cut. So he's set up to cut the enemy's turn meter because at hard exclusive, whenever if he's under 50% turn meter, he's gonna increase his turn meter um, even more when the enemy takes another turn. So for the likes of like Lydia or Nazil who do a quick turn, he's gonna be able to synergize really well with the likes of Wukong. Gonna synergize well with Fashan, and go for a full Sega City team, right? And his ultimate is gonna do a ton of damage, taking out one ally, stripping them of all the buffs and doing massive single target damage. On top, you got Belton and Gilliman. Don't need to explain much there. Just AoE nuke, kill them like a ton of damage. Fiona, again, is a really great counter to CC team because she can't be CC'd. She has an AoE stun, and she gets turn meter when your team or the enemy team gets CC'd. So a great way to cut the enemy and then stun them and steal the turn back. Johnny's kind of like Alec, can pass. Johnny can do a little bit more damage than Alec, of course, because he has damaging abilities, but he's the same concept. He can protect your highest attacking ally like Alec and transfer the debuff there. So that covers our solid section. Um, Catching my breath. Going on to the strong part now. So these are the heroes, pretty much if you have them, they're like a must build, okay? I'll talk about their key exclusives, like maybe we'll work our way from the right to left this time. Sticking with a PvP topic, Focus is great at exclusive 0, at exclusive 3. He's going to be able to give your ally Focus is great even at exclusive 0, because you already fulfill its purpose of giving your ally a second, you know, completely resetting all the cooldowns going again. But exclusive 3, he might give your team member a potential second chance, 50% chance of doing another turn, which is going to be massive, especially say if you're stuck in Brave Trials and you just need some extra hits. Focus is great. Sorry, I have to take a sip of water there. Alec, Electron Transfer protects your strongest ally. You don't even need any exclusives on him, so that's also what makes him also really great. So imagine something like a Popper Bunny and then, Bissidin into your Nita, and your Nita is going to be protected by Alec. We used to see before, sorry, Big Jack protecting against freeze, right? So it'd be really good against Nizzo teams and whatnot. Uh, Quinlan. Quinlan is great. He gets additional turn meter when the enemy's faster than him. So um, he has a good way of, going ahead of the enemy and doing an AoE freeze. You need exclusive 2 for him, so he's a little bit weaker. On top, Nazil and Ascendo, both exclusive 1 is their key breaking point, allowing you to um, first turn freeze, or Ascendo very likely to go first because and synergizes super well with CC teams. When you CC the enemy, Ascendo gets even more turn meter, so Nazil into Ascendo completely locks down the enemy. And Ascendo is becoming more relevant with the likes of a lot of heroes being immune to freeze. Ascendo can still CC them, uh, especially with the likes of Big Jack, right? So great counter for that. And finally, Ninoa is a hero that we see in high-end PvP quite a bit. You need exclusive 3 on her. Um, the moment the enemy takes a turn, if they go first, she's going to be able to go. She's going to be able to cleanse everybody, do a big AoE nuke, and on death, she's also going to nuke the hero that has killed her. So great hero for cleanse option there. Moving to the left, Catherine. Everybody gets Catherine. Catherine is great in both PvP and PvE. PvE side, 60% shield, consolidation, counterattack, great hero. I feel like Catherine should even be on top of core because she's still used in a lot of teams, but I just feel like when we start to look at what's better than Catherine, she's kind of being power crept by some of the other heroes in terms of the relevance, especially because we got, you know, Nordak and Santa from and Lydia kind of taking up all the key support lists. So eventually your Catherine's going to phase out, but not until, your late game. Catherine, is very, very strong. Definitely build her. And she's a guarantee hero everyone can get. Jenny. Jenny has a lot to bring to the table. Not only she is a great counter to Mekio, which is a pain in the butt to deal with if you get nuked by him all the time. Um, she can shut down the enemy if she goes first. She is going to do massive amount of damage, AoE, and she has severe wound. So she brings a lot to the table, and also give your entire team critical damage up. So very good hero, AoE, wave clearing, and for PvP, and also for Purgatory of Sins as well. Moshi is great for PvP. As soon as you can kill enemy, you go again, especially E3. You can just see her completely wiping out entire teams on her own. In PvE setting, as long as you can get that wave clearing capability, as long as you can get enough damage to start killing the enemy, like she is just absolutely insane. She starts to fall off a little bit when you can't wave clear or the enemy becomes a bit too tanky. But overall, she's really strong in PvP and has her PvE uses as well. Fashion, um, similar idea, can boost your entire team. So great for Saga City teams completely. Can boost the bleed team damage. Gets 32% turn meter, I think. Yeah, 32% turn meter if you're running a full Saga team going first. And can boost the entire team's turn meter as well. Like just great on a full Saga City team. Like being able to just one shot the enemy if he decides to do the damage instead of doing the turn meter. Um, so very, very strong hero. Guhana, maybe a lot of people sleep on her just because she has a little bit lower base speed, but she's a great hero for turn meter boosting. Turn meter boosting is great for any PvP setting. So imagine going with a space and rest of your team can't keep up. Guhana is a great hero to go right after space, keep up, and bring your entire team uh, to have enough turn meter to go next and not get cut. She has innate damage reduction with her passive, and in PvE, she has both a 40% slowdown and a 40% speed up. Very few heroes have both of these skills. So in world bosses where you can slow down the boss, this is like giving you double the turn. So super useful, and she also has a severe wound on her basic attack. If you look at her, tag, she's pretty much got everything, and she even got a cleanse to deal with dot damage. So overall, a super well-rounded support, has both PvP and PvE use. So Guhana, definitely worth it. I think a key point for her is to get to, I believe exclusive 2 is when she get the 40% speed up, which is the key one you're looking for. Jenny, you need exclusive 3. Fashion, exclusive 3. Moshi, exclusive 3. Okay, Catherine, you can go E5 because it's all free. Okay, moving to the left, we start seeing a pair, Dez and Bethany. And recently have seen these two heroes in a lot of the guarantee boxes. So I would say if you plan to get them both, yeah, they're a great pair, and you probably don't need any other support, like, because you have so many things with these two combined together. You got your speed up, you got consolidation, you got your attack up, you got your res down, you got almost everything there. And Bethany does damage, a lot of damage. Once she's exclusive 3 and properly paired up. You want your Des to run super fast and your best Bethany to focus on doing damage. So a great pair duo in PvE. You see the two of them running with Jingle Bell all the time for boss killing teams. Then we got 4 supports here with very similar capabilities. They all have the ability of doing attack down, shielding. Timmy's a little bit different. Timmy can slow down the enemy. Hal has crit down and crit damage down beyond just attack down, and and French has a bit of shielding. Mamook has shielding, protects your ally whenever they drop a certain percentage of HP. What I like about Mamook the most is Mamook can taunt. Well, I guess French can taunt as well, but he has immortality at taunt. So that means you could use him to absorb some of the hardest hitting single target from the boss, with the likes of Ifrit, with the likes of Marius, with the like of with Nagia. Like, he is absolutely a champ. So attack down on the basic attack. So great with Catherine. Mumu, Catherine, if you don't have limited hero, they're a great duo for supporting any of your teams. Um, but French, you know, Hal, and even Timmy. Timmy, after his rework a few months ago, now he's got shield, he's got slow down on the basic attack. You got attack down, crit damage down, crit down, like a full kit. You got all the debuff you can think about, you can put onto the boss, all in one kit with Timmy. Plus, you get a little bit of shielding. So Timmy is wonderful. If you don't have a Timmy built and you don't have any of the other options or the limited heroes, don't sleep on Timmy. Okay. Then some of the best damage dealers in the game. And these you definitely want them at exclusive 3. Hazanja, everybody gets 1 copy of him in the first week if you are able to clear the campaign the first 7 days, and many content creators have shown you how. Not going to talk about Hazanja. Adeline at exclusive 3 does a ton of damage. Great synergy with Hazanja if you have it, or any other HP burn hero if you happen to run it. So, Adeline is a great hero to level up with Hazanja together. And then you got Chelsea. Chelsea is a relatively new hero, but she does a ton of burn damage, and she has unique Undying passive, Undying Flames, which is sort of like a burnt dot damage that lasts on a little bit more. So, and she has a lot of ways of buffing up burn damage teams. So, great AOE damage. Single target is so-so. I mean, still solid. I mean, still solid single target damage. There, just does a ton of damage, help the burn team. She's really good there. And then you got Anhesian, really taking advantage of the fact that even if you have a lot of HP burns on the enemy, you still can trigger burn and do extra damage through. So a little bit better than Hazanja, especially with her Echo. All these heroes, I recommend you to fully exclusive them, especially if you're not summoning a lot and you're not able to get any of the best heroes in the game. So finally, we're on to our core section, and I will say these heroes are as impactful as your limited heroes, or even better in some case. The best pair in terms of boss killing is DMU and Indra. At exclusive 3 of them both, you're talking like 10 bill on Wuthering Code. You're talking about like 2 turns to kill the the um, the guild boss. You're talking about pretty much clearing pretty much all of the, maybe with the exception of I think exception of Nadia and Grillin, you see Indra and DMU obliterating stage 40 on all the bosses. So if you're to look, once you have Indra and DMU, you pretty much don't need any other DPS kind of build. So if you're lucky early game to get both of them, this is top priority for you to invest. Tons of videos on these two on how to use them and do crazy amount of damage there. Uh, we just got a brand new hero this week, IMR Candle. IMR Candle Um, Power crept Nita, as I've explained it. Just, 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 just a little bit sad because a lot of these heroes are released really in the last few months, right? Some of these. IMR Candle has gotten a ton of damage. And I think what's really cool about these three heroes, all three of these heroes, is they got some sort of mechanic that boosts their damage over time as the turns progress. Um, so Immortal Candle, with enough turns, he's going to do additional damage on his ultimate. Um, we did a damage test. I just did a video on him, and he out damaged Nita from an AoE perspective, which is crazy over time. So yeah, and he even has some PvP potential. I should have maybe put him in the middle because when he dies, he does like this AoE nuke to everyone, and also potentially silencing them if he's gets knocked down below just get more than 30% of his HP knocked out, right? So really, really good hero from that perspective. Um, he also has severe wound on his basic attack. Synergizes really well with a lot of other poison heroes, and he gradually increases mastery up up to 180% of his mastery can be gained. So imagine you're starting out and you got your Mercando. You're like, I can't get the stats for him. Well, you got just over time, you can increase your self mastery up to 180, 80. And when you fully level him up, that 180 cap actually goes up by 120%. So up to 300% mastery, which is absurd. 300% mastery can be gained on a hero. Like that's just crazy, right? Same mechanism on Narch. Okay, Narch does a crazy amount of damage for bleed. A lot of people has been sleeping on Narch. The only reason why we're sleeping on Narch is because the people. It's also a relatively new hero. By the time a lot of us OG players have gotten him, um, we got like Little Jack at E3, which seems to be good for all content. You don't want to bother investing on a new hero that came out because you really don't need him. Maybe you needed him for just building a bleed team, but even bleed wasn't the strongest in Wuthering Coast, so people have been sleeping on Arch. But if you have an Arch, exclusive 3, he brings so much to the table. He's got shield, bleed up, defense up, right? He can AoE, he can single target. He's going to be able to boost. He's going to restore health, okay? He's going to block debuff on a 3-turn cooldown. Just absurd how much he does. And he's going to boost his own mastery. I think approximately Raven Feather, increased bleed damage up to 12 layers. And he also, um, at a higher exclusive with Raven Guardian, okay? Raven Guardian up to 7 layers. Let's see, how much does it include? Increase mastery, 25%, I think. Yeah, increase mastery up to 7 layers, 175% mastery. See, that's why these heroes are so good in PvE because they have mechanisms to completely buff their stats to an absurd amount. Okay, then we go on to Aiden. Okay, Aiden, same thing. Aiden's gonna boost his own attack by like 100%. Okay, first he's gonna boost his own attack by 20%, then extra 30%, then times that by 5. I think you can stack this 5 times. So 250 times then? Yeah. So increase his own attack by 250%. And it's not like um we talked about shoot, drawing a blank. Uh Whoops, shouldn't have exit full screen mode there. Oh no, where did it go? Uh-oh. Don't really want to record that. Sorry. Sorry. My bad. Last here, let me quickly find my infographic there. Really apologize this in the last little bit. We're 50. Oh, we're going to try to finish this within the next 5 minutes. I swear, I'm going to try to finish this. Aiden, okay, Aiden. Aiden does, there we go. Aiden does a ton of damage because he's able to boost his own attack, right? Um, And unlike, as I was saying, unlike Andreas here, Andreas down here, Andreas. Andreas takes a lot of detonation damage to boost to 40 stacks, which only increases his own attack by 1 rev, maybe like about 160% or so, I think. Maybe a little bit more. No, 160, maybe 200% attack. But it's so much easier for Aiden to get to full stacks than the Andreas. And he can do it on his own very, very quickly to get to full stacks. So he's going to do a crazy amount of damage. And once he transforms, his basic attack has some ridiculous, like 1,000 multipliers on attack. So if you talk about, Indra and DMU, I think I did a video when Aiden came out. I was like, if you don't want to get Indra and DMU together, maybe just get Aiden on his own. Like he's just gonna obliterate the boss on his own. A crazy boss killer. Um, and does a ton of internal injury damage. Then we got so that's like the best damage dealers in game. Like these rival the heroes we theme mythic. Like they're power creeping the mythic heroes. They're on par with the likes of Jingle Bell and some of the best DPS heroes that we see. Like I would say they're stronger than like these heroes. They're strong. Like they're stronger than Darmu. They're stronger than probably Marmelo. Ma Ma Marmelo? Like these Elemental City heroes. Like the only one that they're like on Jingle Bell and Little Jack level. That's how strong these heroes are, right? So that's why I say they're core. If you have them, you absolutely have to build these. No brainer, invest your eyes into these heroes. Then we got support. Agatha, everybody gets copies of Agatha. So Agatha, we already know, very reliable AoE killing in PvP. She's core to direct damaging teams in PvE. If For bruiser teams, not going to talk too much more about Agatha. Everybody knows Agatha. Um, Atkins, again, power creep. These heroes recently they've been going on a crazy power creep with new hero releases. Atkins is going to be a destroyer to all heroes on the enemy team that have Ronai or space. Every time when the enemy moves, as long as he has 40% more turn meter, he's going to jump around and just completely knock out the enemy. You have seen plenty of videos on that. Not going to need to say more. But on PvE side, 3 turn cooldowns with consolidation, tenacity up, reducing damage, reducing the enemy damage with when you hit them, and your it's just ridiculous amount of protection coming from a legendary hero. Like the best support, better than Catherine. Like best support in the entire legendary list as well. So if you want to just run him at high speed, he's going to be a great support. You don't need 200% effective. You don't need 200% effective res if you're using him for PvE. Like I will recommend you just just have an alternative set on him where he is running like full support build. Speed, HP, that's it. For PvP, you need something different. PvE, full speed support, going to be super helpful for you. Then we got Rister. Hopefully I said it right this time. Um, you're going to be able to transfer all his like 30 or 35% of his attack to your ally. Great for PvE. That I think at exclusive one. Double check. I think it's exclusive one. If it's not, it's exclusive two. But he's gonna give 30% term eater to your ally when he goes. Let me just make sure I get it right. Yeah, it's exclusive one. Exclusive two is the one you get extra crit damage. Um, but exclusive one is the one you're really looking for. Goes after space, another 30% from Rister. Your highest attacking ally is going to go nuke and completely obliterate the enemy's team. You're going to give your team an attack up. You're going to give them the stealth. So stealth is going to help them use with one of the echoes. The aerial echo is going to be really great. And bam, just great boost using both PvE and PvP. And then of course at exclusive 3, um, you can prevent the enemy from reviving. You can defense break the enemy and stun. I mean, you get the stun already at exclusive one, but you have the defense down eternal death, which is really really helpful. You want him on exclusive 5 because you want him really fast as a second turn. He's pretty much on every. I see him in threes teams a lot. I see him definitely on all the fives teams. Finally, you have the speedsters, the fastest heroes you want. Popper, Ronai, and Space. Not much need to be said to them. They're the first turn enablers. That's why they're absolutely key in PvP. You see them in all my videos for PvP. There you have it. 50 minutes. So hopefully you enjoyed this overview. Hopefully this tier list lasts. Hopefully we don't get some crazy power creeping heroes over the next little while. I hope you enjoy this brand new format of classifying heroes this way. And I'll catch you next time. Gandolf out.